Artificial intelligence is a co-transformative way by which we are rethinking how we are doing everything. Jai Hind everyone, I am Sweta Sharma
And I'm Rishabh Agrawal.
from Team Geeksters. We are here to discuss on artificial intelligence case solution, that is, X Factory, a media company recently acquired an event management firm with a total number of users up to 30,000. The problem requires us to create a chatbot for their employees to increase their productivity without affecting the user's interest. So to fulfill the demand for the company, we have built our chatbot on Slack. Slack is a messaging platform, and we have chosen it with a motive to enhance user productivity. And right now, this is a priority for X Factory. For developing our chatbot, we have used Python integrated with some libraries like Slack Client. We have implemented APIs, datasets, and web scraping techniques to enhance the user experience by having human-like conversations. We are applying the most effective time management techniques, popularly known as the Pomodoro techniques, to reduce user distractions. It breaks down the tasks and distributes them into intervals of 25 minutes, followed by 5 minutes of short break. We have used MySQL as our database management system and Heroku as a cloud platform for hosting our code base with ClearDB MySQL add-on to connect it with our MySQL database. We are storing our source file on version control system by committing our source file every time we make any changes. This helps us track changes in our file over time, and we can revert back to older versions anytime we feel the need for the same. We have explained all these points and details further in this video, so let us start with architecture. When a user sends a request to the server, a program runs an infinite loop where each time the loop runs, our Slack client checks for any event that have arrived from Slack's RTM API. This allows us to receive event from Slack and respond to the user message in real time. For each event that is interpreted, is further checked whether the command exists or not, and if the command is valid, then it calls the database to check whether the user exists. Otherwise, it adds the user first and updates the database. Then the requested event is processed by calling databases for retrieving or updating stored data. APIs are called if required. Services like scheduled tasks and reminders directly call the database, while for services like health tips, the required information is extracted from the datasets created by extracting content from websites using the web scraping technique. Services like live scores, daily inspiring quotes, news, and facts depends on web API call to get the requested data by the user. After the data has been collected, the response is further generated and sent back with a unique channel ID to the server by calling the web API method, that is chat.postMessage, which tells the Slack's RTM API that what needs to be done exactly with the channel ID and response received by it. The information received by the Slack server is further passed on to the requested user.
Now let us discuss the design and structure of our database used in a chatbot. It helps us store user information and avoid any unnecessary web and API calls. We have created 4 tables in our database: users, tasks, reminders, and lyrics. The users table stores all the user information regarding users' authentications and their subscriptions when they interact with the chatbot. It stores a unique channel ID for each user when they interact with the chatbot for the first time as a text data type, and subsequently storing a user status to let the chatbot know if the user is subscribed to the bot. The chatbot then starts the conversation to know the user's name by interacting with the users. It keeps track of user subscriptions for the subscription-based services offered as per the commands processed by it. It is stored as a tiny int data type which simply stores 0 or 1 for active or deactive services respectively. Now coming to reminders and tasks table. We are using channel ID to uniquely store and retrieve reminders and tasks for every user separately. Reminders store user events such that users get reminded every year at the set event on set date. While tasks store events such that users get reminded only once at a set date and time. In the users table, channel ID has been used as a primary key as well as a foreign key, while in reminders and tasks table, it is used as a primary key. The relationship from users table to the other two tables is 1 to 0 or many. We are caching song lyrics into a lyrics table once the requested song is processed to the user, storing the relevant keyword with the title and the lyrics for the song. This helps us save a lot of unnecessary web and API calls for duplicate requests, yielding a faster response time overall. Now we will discuss the implementations for the solutions provided which aims to enhance the productivity of our users. We have created two types of services for our users. First, the subscription-based services. Second, on-demand services. So let's start with our first service, scheduled tasks. Users can schedule their tasks in the chatbot and it will remind them for the set task at the set date and time. It will help them manage and complete their task on time, leading to an increase in their productivity. Now let's see how does it work. When a user sends a message beginning with remind me on and ending with the user set time, then our program first checks the date and time entered by the user. And if the date or time is invalid, then our program returns an error letting the user know what went wrong while setting the task. If everything is passed correctly, then the task gets stored in the tasks table in our database and the user gets a confirmation message letting them know that the task is set with the formatted date and time.
Users will receive daily updates on health tips on different categories like diet, exercise, sleep, illness, stress, mental health, so that they can balance and live a healthy lifestyle. Now let's see how it works. When the users subscribe for the health tips, then the health column in the users table is updated from 0 to 1 to subscribe the user. The notifications are sent twice at 11:05 a.m. and 3:15 p.m. every day using the Pomodoro technique. We will be scrapping content from websites by using web scraping technique and merge them to create our own data sets, extracting only the required information. We have always kept our ethics at topmost priority, so we will credit all the authors for their content being used respectively, and we may also get explicit consent for the same before scrapping their content for using it as a dataset. Well, it then format the response and send it to all the subscribed users.
Now let's discuss our next service, drink water notifications. Users will be reminded in every 2 hours to drink a glass of water so that they stay fit and hydrated all day. Drinking water will help them stay focused and remain stress-free at work. Now let's see how does it work. When the user subscribes for drink water notifications, then the water column in our users table gets updated from 0 to 1 to subscribe the user. When the notifications are sent in every 2 hours, our chatbot first selects the users subscribed to the service by getting the user's channel ID where water column is 1 and storing it as a list object, and then iterating it one by one to every user and sending water notifications to everyone stored in the list object.
Users will be notified with the live scores of their favorite sports so that they don't have to search about it every time. This will help them save time and hustle of searching the web every time for the live scores of their favorite sports. Now let's see how it works. When the users subscribe for live scores for cricket or football, then the users table gets updated from 0 to list of subscribed competitions for the appropriate sport to subscribe the user. The notifications are sent every 25 minutes from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. to all the subscribed users by getting user's channel ID for the subscribed sport. It fetches live updates from Quick API for cricket and football data for football, depending on their subscriptions, and extracts the live score for the response received in JSON format. The extracted response is then sent to all the subscribed users as a formatted message. But if there are no matches live at the moment, then it does not return anything to the user, as this helps us to avoid any unnecessary disturbance caused to our user.
Now let's look at our next service, daily inspiring quotes. Users will receive inspiring quotes daily so that they stay motivated to work harder every day to achieve their set goals. Now let's see how does it work. When the user subscribes for daily inspiring quotes, then the quotes column in the users table gets updated from 0 to 1 to subscribe the user. When the notifications are sent once at 9 am every day to all the subscribed users and works similar to sending water notifications. It fetches the codes from the codes.rest API and extracts code and author from the JSON response received. It then formats the message and sends it to all the subscribed users one by one.
Users will be updated about current affairs and breaking news daily so that they can be up to date about the current happenings. Now let's see how it works. When the users subscribe for news, the news column in the users table get updated from 0 to 1 to subscribe the user. The notifications are sent twice at 9:25 a.m. and 5:25 p.m. every day to all the subscribed users. It fetches news from News API and extracts the top 5 title, description, and the source link for the latest news from the JSON response received. It then sends it to all the subscribed users in a defined format.
Now coming on to our next service, facts. Users will be able to broaden their knowledge by receiving random facts daily. This will encourage a healthy discussion among their peers and colleagues. Now let's see how does it work. When the user subscribes for facts, then the facts column in the users table gets updated from 0 to 1 to subscribe the user. The notifications are sent twice at 1:10 p.m. and 5 p.m. every day to all the subscribed users using the Pomodoro technique we stated earlier. And this works similar to other subscription-based services. It fetches from random useless fact API and extracts facts from JSON response received. It then formats the message and sends it to all the subscribed users one by one. All the subscription-based services can be deactivated by the users anytime, which simply updates the database from 1 to 0 to unsubscribe the user from the requested service.
Listen to songs. Users will be able to listen to songs, and some users can concentrate better while listening to songs. So this features comes up to search out the song and provide the link to the audio and video version directly on your workspace. Now let's see how it works. When the user requests for the song to listen, beginning with listen followed by the song name. Then the song name is stripped out from the message, and by using YouTube Data API, it incorporates the API in searching the video song and return the first link for the video version of the requested song name. Further, we convert the searched song video to audio with the help of some libraries and generate the audio link hosted on the web. Then the response is formatted and passed to the requested user, which includes the song names along with shortened URLs generated using the Bitly API for the audio and video link. If the song requested by the user does not exist, then it simply returns no song found.
Now let's discuss about our next service. And believe me, this is the most interesting one, song lyrics. Users can now get lyrics for their favorite songs right on the chatbot without leaving their work environment. Isn't it great? Now let's see how does it work. When users request for song lyrics, beginning with lyrics for followed by the desired song name, then first song name gets chopped from the user message, and by using Google custom search APIs, we pass in the song name to search for, and we autocorrect the incorrect song name along the way. We then check if the song lyrics for the requested song name exists in our lyrics table, and if it does, then the title and the song lyrics gets returned to the user as a formatted message. Else, the song name is passed on to the web, extracting the lyrics from our aforementioned websites using the web scraping technique. The extracted lyrics is then stored in our lyrics table, finally returning the title and the lyrics to the user as a formatted message. If the lyrics requested by the user does not exist, then it simply returns no lyrics found for song name passed in by the user.
Users will be able to set reminders for birthdays and anniversaries of their colleagues and friends. This will help them stay connected and keep the communication going. Now let's see how it works. When the users send a message to schedule a reminders, beginning with remind me on, followed by occasion date, peer's name, and occasion, then it first check the format of message typed. And if it is invalid, then it returns an error letting the user know what went wrong while scheduling their reminder. When everything is parsed correctly, then the reminders get stored in the reminders table in the database, and the user get a confirmation message letting them know that the reminder is set for the occasion. Discussing on hosting for database and code. We have deployed our application on Heroku Cloud Platform to make our chatbot live, which is ready to be used by our end users. We have hosted our source files on Heroku's cloud service and connected our MySQL database using the ClearDB add-on. Pushing source files on Heroku is similar to using it, as we get a new Git remote named as Heroku and is associated with our local Git repository. We simply need to push our app on the cloud with the git push Heroku master after cloning and creating our app on Heroku. Our app is running on a single dyno right now, which is a lightweight Linux container on Heroku, so it will be easier to scale horizontally just by increasing the number of dynos for our chatbot application. Heroku helps us set up, manage, and scale our applications so that we can focus more on development of our application. It integrates with a lot of essential tools which are available as add-on and helps in reducing our development time to a large extent. Our app is configured for auto deployment on Heroku using Bitbucket pipelines with the provided API key and app name created on Heroku as soon as we push our source files on our Bitbucket repository. Applications and databases deployed to the Heroku Cloud Platform are automatically backed up as a part of the deployment process on secure, access control, and redundant storage. They uses these backups to deploy our applications across the cloud platform and to automatically bring our application back online in the event of an outage.
Every company has to maintain backups for the source files to track changes over time so that they can revert to the previous version if something doesn't work as expected with the current version of the source files. We are committing our source files in the Bitbucket's private repository so that only our team members can access the source files and push changes to it. It is also helping us manage our team collaborations, as any of our team members can access the most recent committed source files and push changes to it for fixing any bugs, adding or removing any features, or performing unit testing on our chatbot. We have structured our files and folders according to the structure and naming conventions used for the software projects. We have also created a getignore file which ignores any .env files as we store all our API keys in our environment variables, which helps us keep them secure. And we also ignored the unnecessary Python compiled bytecode folder to not get accidentally committed in our Git version control. These were our implementations for the ideas presented in the idea submission round for our Slack chatbot, which will increase the productivity of the employees of X Factory without affecting their interest. We have used Pomodoro technique for time management to schedule all our subscription-based services, which will help our users boost their productivity at work. We have tried to keep a balance between implementation of features and enhancing user experience, as too fewer features will make the chatbot boring and not much interactive and user-friendly, and too many features will be a cause to decrease in user productivity, defeating our whole purpose of building a chatbot in the first place. We have also planned to add some human-alike conversations using datasets so that our chatbot does not look like a dummy bot responding just on assigned commands. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you.